Lab here, bringing another video on chemistry. Welcome back to my channel. So I reached 15 subscribers recently, and as promised, I'm back with a part 2 of what is Apparatus. Thank you all so much for subscribing, and now let's begin our lesson.
A few inches later.
The first apparatus for today is a test tube. Let's look at the photo of it to see what it looks like. So like our last video, let's learn the spelling of a test tube before we actually learn about it. T-E-S-T, test. T-U-B-E, tube, test tube. Test tubes are widely used by chemists to handle chemicals, especially for qualitative experiments and assays. Their spherical bottoms and vertical sides reduce mass loss while pouring, make them easier to wash out, and allow convenient monitoring of the contents. So, test tubes are used by chemists in laboratories. They are used to test the chemicals. It has a few other names like sample tubes or culture tubes. Test tubes are made up of glass or borosilicate glass, which most of the apparatus is made up of. So did you guys know that test tubes are also used to test human blood? Well, sometimes the doctor gives us some tests to do. So the person who tests the blood takes the blood and put it in a tube. Later, he or she takes it to the laboratory, and chemists do a lot of tests, or the tests prescribed by the doctor, to find out whether we have any disease inside our body. So, remember that I said about the tube the person puts the blood in? That tube is known as the test tube. Moving on to a boiling tube. So this is what it looks like. Spelling time. B-O-I-L-I-N-G. Boiling. T-U-B-E. Tube. A boiling tube is a small cylindrical vessel used to strongly heat substances in the flame of a Bunsen burner. A boiling tube is essentially a scaled-up test tube, being about 50% larger. So a boiling tube kind of looks like a test tube, as we saw in the picture, but it is about 50% larger than the test tube. The shape of the boiling tube is cylindrical. So we've learned so much about a boiling tube, but now let's learn what it is used for. So according to the slide, it is used to heat, strongly heat substances like small solid particles, for example, small pieces, and very small pieces of iron to turn iron into a liquid or any other solid particles. Chemists can also heat liquids like water, milk, etc. using a boiling tube. The tube heats its substances in the flame of a Bunsen burner. It is essentially a scaled-up test tube. Next up is a measuring cylinder, and this is what it looks like. Spelling time. M-E-A-S-U-R-I-N-G. Measuring. C-Y-L-I-N-D-E-R. Cylinder. A graduated cylinder, also known as a measuring cylinder or mixing cylinder, is a common piece of laboratory equipment used to measure the volume of a liquid. It has a narrow cylindrical shape. Each marked line on the graduated cylinder represents the amount of liquid that has been measured. Okay, so a measuring cylinder is also known as a graduated cylinder or mixing cylinder. In easy words, it is used to measure the volume of any sort of liquid. The marked lines of it represents the amount of liquids that has been measured. For example, if we put some lemonade in the graduated cylinder, we can see how much we've put because The marked lines measured it. So before we move on, I just want to say that let's just focus on the name measuring cylinder rather than mixing cylinder or graduated cylinder, because in the book it's written measuring cylinder. Moving on to a pipette, and this is what it looks like. Spelling time: P-I-P-E-T-T-E. Pipette. A pipette, sometimes spelled pipette, P-I-P-E-T, is a laboratory tool commonly used in chemistry, biology, and medicine to transport a measured volume of liquid, often as a media dispenser. Okay, so we've all seen pipettes in our lifetime, right? One common example of a pipette is an eyedropper. The material used to make pipettes are either glass or plastic. Pipettes are mostly used in chemistry, biology, and medicine, as we got to know from the slide. They are used to transport a measured amount of liquid. Next up is a separating funnel, and this is how it looks like. Let's learn the spelling of a separating funnel. S-E-P-A-R-A-T-I-N-G. Separating. F-U-N-N-E-L. Funnel. A separatory funnel, also known as a separation funnel, separating funnel, or colloquially sep funnel, is a piece of laboratory glassware used in liquid-to-liquid extractions to separate, partition, the components of a mixture into two immiscible solvent phases of different densities. So let me explain in easy words. A separating funnel has lots of names. Some common names are separation funnel, separatory funnel, etc. It is a piece of glassware. It is used in liquid-to-liquid extractions to separate the components of a mixture to two different immiscible liquids. So immiscible liquids are the liquids which do not dissolve in each other, like oil and vinegar do not dissolve in each other. Some other examples are oil and water, vinegar and water, etc. We've nearly reached towards the end of today's video, but before ending, we have one last apparatus left. So let's see what it is. It's a thermometer. Spelling time: T-H-E-R-M-O-M-E-T-E-R. Thermometer. Thermometers are devices for measuring temperature. In a thermometer with liquid, mercury or alcohol is placed in a small glass container. If the temperature increases, the liquid undergoes volume expansion and rises in a capillary. The level of the raised liquid is the measure of temperature. So I think we all know what a thermometer is, right? It is a device used to measure temperature. Did you know that there are lots of types of thermometers? Some examples are digital thermometers, electronic ear thermometers, glass thermometers, mercury thermometers, alcohol thermometers, etc. I'm not going to talk about the thermometer uses today, maybe some other day, but for now, we've finished our lesson and chapter about apparatus. That's the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Hope the video was helpful. Please subscribe for more. Till then, stay safe, bye-bye, and Happy New Year!